If you looked at my life from the outside, you'd think I was lucky. I lived in a sunlit apartment in downtown Manhattan, ran a thriving interior design firm, and was engaged to Daniel Hayes, a man who could light up any room just by walking in. He was handsome, successful, charming, the kind of man who made everyone else fade into the background. And I loved him. God, I loved him. He was my best friend, my partner in everything. And then there was Clara Bennett, my best friend since college. Loud, loyal, always the first to defend me, and the last person I ever thought would hurt me. She was like a sister. The three of us were inseparable. Dinners, birthdays, vacations. Our lives were intertwined so tightly it was hard to tell where one of us ended and the other began. Back then, I thought that kind of closeness was beautiful. Now I know it can also be deadly. It started with little things. Daniel coming home later than usual. The way his phone suddenly started living face down on the counter. The subtle distance in his eyes when I talked about our wedding plans. And Clara, she became strange. Always distracted, nervous. Once, she canceled a lunch because she was sick, only to accidentally send me a selfie later that day, perfectly dressed with wine in her hand. Still, I told myself it was nothing. Love makes you blind, but trust makes you stupid. One night, Daniel left his tablet on the couch while taking a shower. I wasn't snooping, not at first. I just needed to email a client presentation. But when I opened the browser, there it was, a message preview on the home screen. Name: Clara. My stomach tightened. I clicked it, praying it was about work. It wasn't. It was a thread months long. Pictures. Late-night messages. I read every word, each one cutting deeper than the last. I can't wait to see you tonight. You looked incredible yesterday, she'll never know. And the one that broke me completely. I'm only marrying her for appearances. You're the one I actually want. The room went silent. It was like my world had split open. Everything that felt real a minute ago was suddenly a lie. I didn't confront him. Couldn't. I just sat there, staring at the words, feeling my heart turn cold. Clara, my best friend. Daniel, my fiancé. They were betraying me together, right under my nose. That night, I watched him sleep beside me. His arm draped over me like everything was fine. And I realized something. He didn't deserve my tears. He deserved my silence. Because silence is terrifying. Makes people wonder what you know. From that night on, I stopped reacting. I stopped crying, stopped questioning, stopped showing pain. Became calm, too calm. I told Daniel I wanted to focus on work before the wedding. I told Clara I was exhausted and needed space. But what I was really doing was watching them. Every text, every movement. I became a ghost in my own life. Invisible but everywhere. And what I discovered was worse than I imagined. They weren't just cheating. They were planning to push me out of my company, the one I built from nothing. Clara had been leaking my designs to Daniel's firm. He was preparing to pitch to my biggest client, using my ideas. That's when something in me snapped. I didn't want revenge out of rage anymore. I wanted it because they deserved it. And I wanted it to be perfect. I started by pretending to heal. I told Daniel I forgave his coldness, that I understood he was stressed. I smiled more, cooked dinners, played the role of the loving fiancé. He believed me. Of course he did. Men like him always think they're smarter than you. With Clara, I went even further. I texted her like old times. Heart emojis, inside jokes. She fell for it instantly, relieved that our friendship was back on track. I started meeting her for coffee again, listening as she talked about how lucky I was to have Daniel. She'd say it with that fake smile, the kind that hides guilt behind glitter. Every time she spoke his name, I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I listened. Because information is more powerful than anger. Slowly, I began to collect everything. Emails, screenshots, business records, text messages. I learned where they met, what they said, even what wine they drank together. They had no idea the woman they thought was broken was quietly building their ruin. I waited for the perfect moment, and it came sooner than I expected. Daniel mentioned a massive client project he wanted to land, something that could change our lives. He asked me to help with the design pitch. So I did. I poured my heart into it. Sketches, layouts, mock-ups. I watched him proudly present my work in a meeting that was being secretly recorded by me. He didn't know the designs were subtly watermarked, traceable back to my copyright. He didn't know the client was already in contact with my lawyer. And Clara, she had no clue that I had planted an accidental email thread in her inbox. Fake messages about missing funds and internal corruption. The kind that could destroy her reputation in seconds if leaked. My plan was simple. Make them doubt each other. Make them paranoid. And then let them destroy each other. And that's exactly what happened. Daniel started noticing inconsistencies in Clara's stories. He found that fake email, confronted her, and the cracks began to show. Clara, terrified, thought Daniel was setting her up. Their secret love turned into screaming matches, jealousy, and suspicion. Meanwhile, I smiled. I kept pretending nothing was wrong to both of them. I told Daniel I loved him. I told Clara I'd always be there for her. Every lie I told them was a weapon, and they didn't even see it coming. The more they fought, the more mistakes they made. Daniel accidentally copied me in an email meant for Clara, exposing their relationship to half the office. Clara panicked and blamed him. He called her unstable. She called him a manipulative liar. And I just kept watching as they tore each other apart. I thought I'd feel satisfaction, but what I felt was empty. Because behind every act of revenge, there's still the ghost of who you used to be, the person who loved them. The emptiness hit me the night everything finally collapsed. Daniel's company was being investigated for fraud, thanks to the evidence I'd quietly handed to a journalist friend. Clara's name was tied to the scandal after her missing funds emails went public. It all happened faster than I expected. One morning my phone lit up with headlines. Hayes and Partners under investigation. Art consultant involved in financial leak scandal. By afternoon their faces were everywhere. Daniel's clients vanished. Clara's gallery revoked her contracts. Their reputations gone like smoke in the wind. And me. I was at home, sitting on my couch, sipping coffee, watching it all unfold on TV. The same coffee table where I once found the messages that broke me. Justice. That's what I thought I wanted. But as I sat there, the silence felt heavy. Not victorious, just quiet. That night there was a knock on my door. I already knew who it was before I opened it. Clara. She looked nothing like the woman I once called my best friend. Her hair was messy, eyes swollen from crying, her voice shaking. "Ava," she whispered, "please. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." I said nothing. She stepped inside like she still had a right to. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. He said he loved me. He told me you didn't care about him anymore. I made a mistake, Ava. Please. You have to believe me." Her words broke something inside me. Not pity, not forgiveness. Just finality. For months, I had dreamed of this moment. Of seeing her crumble the way I once did. But standing there looking at her, I realized she was already punished. She'd lost everything. And so had I. I took a deep breath and said quietly, "Do you know what betrayal feels like, Clara? It's not the pain that kills you. It's the silence that follows." She looked at me, confused, desperate. "What are you saying?" I met her eyes. "I know everything. Every lie. Every message. Every meeting. And every single thing that happened to you and Daniel. Happened because I made it happen." Her face froze. Her lips parted but no sound came out. Then her knees gave way, and she sank onto the floor, sobbing. I turned away, feeling nothing. No triumph. No guilt. Just a strange, hollow ache where my heart used to be. Before she left, she whispered, "You destroyed us." I looked at her one last time and said, "No, Clara. You destroyed me. I just finished what you started." She left without another word. And with her, the last piece of my old life disappeared. After that night I packed my things. The apartment felt haunted by memories, laughter, and lies. I sold the company, closed every social account, changed my number. I needed to disappear. Not because I was guilty, but because I was done. New York felt different when you stopped caring who noticed you. I'd walk through Central Park in the mornings, coffee in hand, watching people live their lives, happy, unscarred. Sometimes I'd imagine being one of them again. I rented a small place near the river, started freelancing quietly, under a new name. No one knew who I was anymore, and that was exactly how I wanted it. But at night I'd still dream of them. Not the betrayal, but the laughter before it all went wrong. The Sunday dinners. The inside jokes. The love that once felt real. It's strange how your heart can miss the people who broke it. Months passed. One day I saw Daniel again by accident. He was sitting alone at a cafe downtown, looking older, emptier. His suit was wrinkled, his hair gray around the edges. He didn't see me. And for the first time I didn't want him to. I walked away quietly, realizing that the story was truly over. Not because I won, but because I finally stopped needing to. Outro, 15 to 20 seconds. I thought revenge would heal me. Didn't. It just showed me how much pain can change you. Twist you, harden you, make you someone you barely recognize. Maybe I didn't win. But I made sure they never did either. And that somehow feels enough.